Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to say all praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Jeremiah who were well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, Barakatam. Um, yeah, I just wanted to just basically go into why I've been missing for about 8 months, and this was sitting on my spirit, and I just had to get out before I carry on doing the videos, and I basically got judged by the Lord. You know, um, you know, I understand the Lord chasteneth those He loves. And it's not to be presumptuous, but ultimately, I should have listened when the Lord sent counsel unto me, because I was going out. I stand on the sidelines. The brothers go out. I go out there. I try to show support. And a brother had went through a similar situation to me, and he gave me counsel, and he said, chill out. It's happened to me. I've been through it. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like, no, yeah. I was being prideful. I should have just taken counsel from the brother, because ultimately the Lord set him up to tell me to chill out. I weren't doing anything off. I weren't going around whooping people's asses and doing all of this stuff. But Esau basically just said, don't do this. You can't see your son. If you want your son, you're gonna have to get permission. And I'm looking at Esau like, who are you to tell me that I can't see my son? And that's going off. It's not scriptural, regardless of whether or not it's right or not. We know this kingdom is wicked, and I should have listened. Because even the council say, agree with our adversary whilst thou's in the way. And is my child, and it's something close to my heart, and ultimately is what the Lord used to judge me. And looking back on things, and I even made a video before where when I said, me having a child was, I felt like the Lord basically gave me a son, and He gave me a son of all things. And the Lord, you have to really. Let me get the scripture before I rant. This is Psalms 27:14. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. So certain things I'm going through, I'm not really gonna go into too much detail, because that's besides the point. It's just to try to edify brothers. Hopefully, if they're going through something similar, they look at the signs, because you get the signs, right. And I chose to go on. It's like you see a stop sign and you keep driving, and then you hit a brick wall. You can't blame anyone but yourself. But ultimately you should have just turned around and gone back on your way. And as I was saying, I know this sounds cruel, because brothers probably have daughters out there or whatnot. I felt like if I had a daughter, I'd have been a bit more, chilled about it, because I feel like the daughter's supposed to be with the mum anyway. I feel like the son's really supposed to follow after the father. I still probably would have tried to see her, but I probably would have been a bit more chilled about it. It aggravates me how these nigger women are just basically just destroying these little you know um these little jakes, because they're just raising them wrong. you know and ultimately, is a demon. And even the brothers told me, he told me there was a similar demon on his woman, and she done something similar to him, and she was talking about, I'm gonna do this and that, and he was like, yeah, she said the same thing. So clearly there's a demon, that gets on to these women to behave a certain way. But ultimately, I should have taken counsel, and I didn't. And I basically spent about, altogether was like 8 months, like 8 months inside, you know, and I had 7 weeks. I was given bail, and during that time, when I first went in the 7 weeks, reading every day, was fasting, was praying, and the Lord gave me bail, and then I come out, and it says pride puffeth up. So I'm looking at, yeah, the Lord got me, man. There ain't nothing too bad gonna happen to me. You gonna tell me I can't do A, B, and C? And I didn't do anything off, but I'm telling this bitch, like, no, I don't want these Edomites involved in the family business, whether or not me and you are together or not, whatever, which was, and this bitch has just run off to Esau and is like, yeah, look, see, this nigga ain't listening. I told him, and she's saying I've done A, B, and C, and I ain't done it, and Esau's wicked. So even though the proof shows that what she's saying is a lie, Esau don't give a fuck. He just does whatever he wants to do. Pardon my French. But ultimately, as a man, we have to take responsibility for the situations that we put ourselves in. I can't sit there and blame the Lord. Oh Lord, you didn't have me, because the Lord basically sent brothers, put me in situations, and I should have taken the warning. Because even with some situations when I was around, that little demon, I weren't doing videos and I weren't in the spirit like I was before. So the Lord separated me from this chick, and because I had a son, I was, I felt a sense of pride. And even the brother said, pride is abominable to the Most High. I should have been honored that the Most High gave me a son. I shouldn't have been prideful about it. I'm looking at this guy. Oh yeah, obviously in the spirit, I'm hoping this place is done anyway. But while I'm there, I'm looking at him like, yeah, if he grows up, I'm gonna do this, that, and it's the wrong spirit to be in. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not my child. Even the brother said, he's just a spirit that came forth through me. Now I have a responsibility towards him, but the brothers counsel me is that he has his own judgment. Who knows whether or not it was evil before, or it was bad in a lifetime. At the end of the day, this is the judgment from the Lord. If the Lord willing, the Lord has mercy on me. I'll be redeemed in my latter end. But I should have been patient. I should have dealt with things scripturally, because and I was talking to the brother about this the other day. I prayed to the Lord for humility, and you know we ask the Lord for things, but we don't expect the Lord to give us the things that we ask for in a way that we might not necessarily think is helpful. So you might pray to the Lord for money, right? And the Lord puts you in a situation where you have a business, and now you have to deal with taxes, and people are trying to steal from you, but this is what you asked for. So you ask the Lord for humility. He's going to put you in the situations that's going to you know force you to be humble. And nothing more humbling than than being in jail, man. Being in jail is horrible. This is Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. So that's the spirit, I was supposed to be in. I was supposed to have waited on the Lord. And even though I might have had a heartache from not seeing my child, or whatever the case may be, I should have been renewed and fortified in the strength that the Lord has used that opportunity to now put me around other brothers, because before it was just, I'm just doing videos. I went out there one or two times, but I was praying to the Lord, to put me with some brothers so I can go out there and do the work. And the Lord was like, all right, bet. And then he created these situations that put me in that situation, you know. But all of this is part of all of that, and I really should have been looking at it from a spiritual perspective, and I really should have been grateful for the Lord, because the Lord basically gave me what I wanted. It just didn't come in a way that was comfortable. Like growth is never comfortable. Growth, to grow as a person is painful. Even puberty, you get acne, you get little joint pains or whatever, teething problems for children. Growth hurts. Even when you go to the gym, you gotta rip your muscles. You gotta go to the point of failure. You gotta push past your pain thresholds. So a lot of people, I knew it wasn't, but again, I was basically acting like a female. I got emotional. I weren't thinking spiritually, because ultimately that's what it is. When you're in a manly spirit, you seek the Lord. That's what a man is. A man is somebody. Well, a man is a man that seeks the Lord's favor effectively. Anything other than that, you're in a female spirit. You out there, you think you're a big fighter, but you don't believe in the Lord. You don't praise the Lord. you're not grateful for what the Lord has done to you. You're pretty much a female, man. Because even some of these top fighters, that they got women and they're getting popped by other men, and they're sitting there and they're saying it's cool, so they're not in the spirit of men, you know. And if I put my faith in the Lord, I would have not been weary, you know. And and I was wrong, you know. So I had to kind of sit there and think and realize, you know, this is the spirit I'm supposed to be in, rather than being self-willed. I'll just bring out a couple of scriptures. Proverbs 14:16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. Now, this Esau was a man of wicked devices, you know, but I let my anger rule me, you know. So I was being a fool and I was raging. Not necessarily I'm going around punching people in the face, but you know, I should have ruled my spirit better again, you know. So yeah, when you get judged from the Lord, you really have to kind of sit back and think, why did I go through this? And I was watching the elder Manasseh Zakbat GMS narrator SC, and he was talking about how, you know, if you're constantly going through stuff and you're constantly going through turmoil, you need to look at your spirit and see whether or not what you're doing is off, you know. So you know, I have to look at myself and I have to think. I still, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, you know, I'm 100%, you know. But I have to look at myself and I have to renew myself in the faith every day. Because even brothers say, you know, it's a refining process. You're not gonna be perfect, but you have to be a better man than the day you was before. You know, you can't stay stagnant. You know, if you're going to the gym and you're lifting 50 kilograms, and it's 5 years later and you're still lifting 50 kilograms, you're basically stagnant. You know, you're not growing. You're supposed to grow in the faith. You're supposed to grow in the spirit. And you know, I wasn't. I was moving forward, but I was not growing in the way that I was supposed to. You know, I was supposed to be better. Now I'm not doing mad things like popping guys' wives and stuff like that. But you know, I got stuff I got to deal with the Lord. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect, but you know, I should have been growing more, especially seeing as I had brothers around me. You know, because I'm looking at it like I got no one to talk to about this kind of stuff, or I'm going through this and that. And it's not to complain, but sometimes you want to sit there and reason with brothers who have the same kind of mindset as you, because you see something and you know it's wrong. That's why it's beautiful. It says two is better than one, because when you have brothers in the faith and you can kind of mediate with brothers, they can kind of sit you down and give you something from a bigger biblical perspective. But what's the point if brothers sit there and tell you something and you don't listen? That's pride. This is Ecclesiasticus 10:7. Pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. And you know that goes into Esau, but it's pretty much the same thing. You know, when you get prideful, you do things that is not prudent and is not expedient, and you put yourself in stupid situations that you really could have been avoided. I could have avoided all of this stuff for the most part. You know, there's certain things I might not have been able to avoid, but there's a lot of it I would have been able to avoid. But ultimately, you know, it's something I had to go through. So as much as I have to, you know, take blame for it, you know, if I learn from it and I grow in a faith, then you know it was for my betterment. Because you know, some people are hard headed. I'm gonna, you know, I'll be completely honest. I'm a bit hard headed if I think I'm right. You know, and that's not really the right spirit to be in. Even if you're right, you still have to be humble. You know, because the Lord was right, and the brother was saying this the other day to me. You know, when Yahushua was being uh you know, when he was in front of the gov, I can't remember the gov. Let's get that scripture real quick. Uh, can't remember the yeah, that's it. Yahweh trial before Pilate. You know, he was like he marveled at him because he was reading out all these charges, and and you know, Yahweh was silent. You know, and that's the spirit brothers are supposed to be in, you know, because even other brothers might go through worse than I've been, and I have to kind of remind myself of that and be humble, You know, because if I'm not humble, if I don't learn, the Lord's just gonna put something else in my way, and it's gonna be way worse. And I'm seeing videos on brothers, you know, getting out of here. You know what I mean? You was in the faith one day, next you're not in the faith. Brothers in the faith, and then you know they're getting run over by vehicles and stuff like that. So you know this is judgment not only for Esau, but right now brothers who are in the truth. You know if you're not really serving the Lord is gonna out you. He's gonna get you out of here. You know what I mean? And I ain't trying to get hit by multiple vehicles, you know, and be, because essentially if the Lord's sending people to sit and talk to you and reason with you and try to make you see things from another perspective and you don't listen, effectively you're just putting a middle finger up to the Lord. You know, it doesn't matter how humble you come across. And this is the final scripture. You know, I'm gonna close out. I don't really wanna, you know, rant and beat the point. This is Proverbs 15:5. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. So, you know, when you're using wisdom, everything pretty much you're able to deal with. When you don't use wisdom, you put yourself in situations which really can be avoided. And that's all part of being, you know, prudent. And when you look into the word prudent, it says marked by wisdom or judiciousness, shrewd in the management of practical affairs. You know, practical affairs is what your job, dealing with your woman, you know, dealing with your boss, you know, dealing with your seeds. These are practical affairs. Cautious, discreet, thrifty, frugal, and I didn't exercise prudence, you know. And even when you look at the word judicious, which you know is it just shows I wasn't in the right spirit, because when you look at the word judicious, having, showing, or done with good judgment or sense. And ultimately, you know, in this thing, if brothers, if I'm trying to, you know, do the work and trying to put myself in a situation where Yahweh Shai looks at me as as a faithful servant who's done the work, he's gonna say, "Do you have good judgment? I put these tests, you know, in your path, and you showed me that you weren't exercising good judgment." So, you know, that's really a mark on me. If I'm perfectly honest, you know, really is a self cut. Sometimes you listen to brothers and you get cut in the spirit, but brothers have to sit there and think, you know, I'm not really trying to, you know, trying to be all down and negative. It's just if brothers is going through certain situations, you know, certain brothers have more of a fiery spirit on them. You know, and the Lord is gonna you know do what's gonna balance you out. So certain brothers might be a bit more calm. The Lord will put situations in your path that's gonna make you a bit more fiery or a bit more assertive. You know, if you're more fiery and more assertive, the Lord's gonna put you in situations that's gonna humble you. You know, ultimately this is to balance you up, because balance is perfection. So yeah, I'm glad, you know, I come out. You know, I'm appreciative of everything that the Lord has done to me. But you know, Lord willing, somebody finds this edifying, and it helps brothers, you know, avoid certain things that you know they really should be looking in the scriptures. Because ultimately, you know, and the brothers said this before, and I said this to the brothers. You know, I wasn't even following my own advice. You know, sometimes you know, you can be a hypocrite. You know, what would Yahushua do? If every brother said that to themselves before they behave or do something, you know, brothers would avoid a lot of situations, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatam, Kwam Yasharala. You know, Shalom to the hopeful elect, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well. Shalom.